This is Life After Jazz Hands. 20 years ago, I graduated from musical theatre college and had ideas about how my life would look. And it got me thinking, what were my classmates' journeys also? So now I'm sitting down with them individually to hear about their stories and where they are at, 20 years on. Today's guest is the wickedly dry Chris Grierson. From Royal Tunbridge Wells to the royalty of Hollyoaks to the royalty of Crystal Palace, we discuss the journey of how Chris found himself in a job that suited what he loved down to the ground, all told with a good sense of sarcastic humour. Without further ado, this is Life After Jazz Hands. Okay, so Christopher Grierson. Do people still call you Grio?
Yes.
Okay, so do I call you Grio?
Yeah, call me Grio, yeah.
Grio.
Anyone from college does, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome. Thank you for doing this. My curly-haired friend.
Yeah. Although
we've embraced.
Yeah, didn't have curly hair at the time that I knew of.
GHD straightener era. Well, I always want to start with it, going back to the beginning and talking about before actually I knew you and your experience, but I always want to share a memory. The one I remember with you is when we were in Northampton.
Yeah,
doing our first professional job, Peter Pan pantomime, is that I look back at that and go, God, I was such a teenager, and I used to have like mood swings. We were in that dressing room, and you and Nick, I always remember you and Nicholas Pinto Sanders. Remember when I had that Pink album?
Yeah,
and you singing Just Like a Pill right in my face purposely, just to annoy me.
I don't remember doing that, but I remember loving that album.
Yeah, but do you know what's interesting as well? I look back and we kind of didn't click that much back then. The weird thing is I don't think of you as the same the person at Panto. I don't think of that as being you. Because I didn't know you at all. I was very uptight.
yeah. Didn't we do? It sounds like bullying, but didn't someone put like pickled onions in your hat or something like that?
I don't know. It didn't scar me because I don't remember.
But do you remember? Did you live in the house with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Do you remember how weird that was? We were renting a house. It was a witness protection. Remember it was a family house, and the husband had been put in jail for...
Yeah. Remember she had to come and live in the house one night while we were there because to prove to the court that she was, this is a whole story.
That is so weird. So I was living in... So basically their family had abandoned the house, hiding from him because he was getting released from prison. And I was sleeping in the kid's bed with kid's duvet cover.
Yeah, it was...
Odd. A cabin bed.
But I still one of my favourite weirdly jobs I ever did actually the show because I was so young and just getting paid at that age.
It was massive as well. It was a big scale panto.
In fact, that was all downhill from there with our careers.
As I said, I think of you as being a different person. I didn't feel like I didn't know you then. I kind of only got to know you in third year. We did shows together.
I was quite different then. I always say thanks to Scylla, I kind of opened up a bit more and just became a bit more silly. And then we really got on then and laughed a lot more. Anyway, well, I always want to say I knew you from. Were you 18 when you started?
Yes.
Yeah. But I feel like we didn't really know that much about prior to that. And I feel like, what was your journey? Just tell me about you as a child. What kind of stuff you were into and leading up to college, how that kind of happened. You're from, I don't want to get Tunbridge or Tunbridge Wells?
Royal Tunbridge Wells.
Royal Tunbridge Wells, right.
Well, I'm not actually, I'm from a village just outside.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of between Hastings and Tunbridge Wells.
Okay.
South East Sussex.
Cool. And what were you, describe Chris as a child?
Well, from camcorder footage, very high, squeaky, annoying voice. I think I was always... trying to be centre of attention, I think, whilst also being shy at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a classic.
But I think that is you, though. Yeah, that sums you up.
I always used to do impressions from a young age.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I did. And then I think I started playing guitar when I was 6.
Okay.
And then the guy said, you should join a choir because you've got a good pitch. So then I was a choir boy.
Okay. Well, like chorister?
Yeah. Battle Church. Head chorister.
Battle Church?
Yeah. Do you know Battle? No. The Battle of Hastings, 1066.
Oh, wow.
It's a village. It's not
I was thinking
church.
you were choristers battling each other.
No, but it was just a piss around.
Okay.
Choir boy. You used to have to go up and get blessed.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't confirmed, because I wasn't really religious.
Yeah,
I just did it for the singing.
Same.
And we'd put wet look hair gel in our hair, but loads of it, so that when they touched our head, it would be gloopy, and then we'd just be giggling the whole time. Desmond Llewellyn, who played Q in James Bond.
Really?
Used to go to the church, and I remember he did a reading once, and he farted right next to me. So yeah, country bumpkin, but with a little Londonness, because my dad was from Croydon, my mum was from East London, so they moved out to the country.
I didn't know that. Where in East London was your mum from?
Plaistow.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I did not know that. But I do feel like, you've got a London edge to you. Even in your accent. A bit.
I think I've got, looking back on videos, I've got posher as I've got older. I mean, I've got a posh wife, so
that's right.
I think it's rubbed off
the
a bit.
influence.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was probably more nasal Kent when I was outside. I don't know.
Because I always get confused because the other Stuart was from Tunbridge.
Stuart. But,
That's why I always used to get very confused. Okay, cool.
Sorry. So I was a choir boy. So that's where the singing came in. And then when I was at school, I was like in a band and stuff.
Okay.
And then started doing musical theatre bits outside of school. Maybe when I was like 11, I did some kind of class.
Yeah.
But more when I was around I got singing lessons when I was like 15.
Yeah.
Because I was all right. And then suddenly I was like, oh, sounded like a musical theatre singer. So then I started doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I did the Arts Ed summer school.
Did you?
Yeah. It was Jackie Brister that ran it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I did that. And then they basically said, oh, if you audition, you'll probably get in.
When you did it, were you like, what the hell is this? Or did you just like...
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's completely different. It was like a mini version of going away, because you stay... I think I had a dance teacher, Jo, and she taught me in Tunbridge Wells, but she was at Arts Ed.
Yeah.
So I think I stayed with her, or I stayed with friends of her.
Yeah.
So it was like a little taster of doing it. It was pretty cool. And then I just, the typical lazy getting away, they said, oh, you'll probably get so I only auditioned for Arts Ed.
Yeah.
And then I actually didn't get in straight away.
Did you not?
I had to redo my acting audition. Because I'd never done a monologue before.
That is so funny though, because I think that's you're good at everything, but that is definitely your like skill.
I think so, yeah. But yeah, I failed it. Because I just didn't learn it properly. And I didn't hardly rehearse it. I'd never done a monologue.
What it was?
No. Couldn't tell you what it was. No idea. It wasn't great. And Ursula, because Ursula had taught me on the summer course.
Yeah.
So she said, I can't remember what she said. She came up to me, I think, when I went to the read, and she said, look, you'll need to do this again, but what you need to do.
Yeah.
Gave me some advice, and then I went away and actually learned it.
Potential. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. And we don't want to talk about college too much, because I feel like it's such a like... I don't know, it's such a like personal thing, and if there's a whole podcast just about talking about college, it's just us laughing about little things. But if you were to sum up those 3 years, like, how would you? What do you remember?
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
I have to say. I just remember it was completely different to anything I grew up with. I felt like it's the only time in my life where I've properly got into like talking about emotions and showing emotion.
Okay.
I've probably lost it since.
Really?
Because I work in football. I absolutely loved it, because I thought it was like, I felt like I was around people that I was completely relaxed with.
Yeah.
For the first time.
That is really nice to hear that, because someone else, not everyone feels that way, I get it, but someone else said it felt like a really safe space. And the guy that was saying that was saying because he was a gay guy and where he came from and that. But then to hear it from a heterosexual perspective, to be honest, as well, feeling that way, it just shows that it was kind of that for everyone.
I loved it because of...
Yeah.
Witnessing that was amazing. What I love is that you start and then you're full of people that have felt like they couldn't be themselves where they grew up, and then they come to this place and you gradually in the first few weeks see them turn into the person that they really are. Yeah. And then they go back home at half term and then come back like as this new fresh person that's like, wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I absolutely loved.
That's so true.
Seeing people.
I mean, you were like I think one of the clowns. I think I became one of the clowns as well, but you were definitely like, I think you might take the clown.
Clowns.
Yeah, but I think you took the clown prize.
Sarcastic clown.
Sarcastic clown. Yeah,
show off, I guess.
What kind of clown are you? Sarcastic clown?
Some sarcastic clown. Just with a little, so it wouldn't have a big smile, it would just have a straight mouth like that.
God, that's like a horror film. Sarcastic clown, the movie.
I think it took me a while to come out of my shell, though, but then it was because I'm not very good in big groups of people, and obviously it's a massive group of
it's overwhelming.
big characters, so it kind of takes a while, and then you just have a little one-liner.
That's what happened to me. I just went into my shell for about a year and a half, and then after a while, I started to come out of myself. But you either compete with the big voices, don't you, in those environments, or you wait until
you
feel
I
confident.
just remember being baffled, like all the hugging and like when people saying goodbye on a Friday and then on a Monday everyone's hugging and kissing. How was your weekend? I'd be like, I only saw you on Friday. We don't need to cuddle. But I embraced it in the end.
Yeah.
The human touch is nice.
I was like that as well. I remember Kerry once going to hug me and being like, why don't you hug? I said, I'm just. I think it was quite similar to you. I think you just became a certain way.
Yeah.
Put a defence up. Whereas I'm so much more like huggy now and affectionate.
Yeah, I'm probably less so, but I really miss it.
Yeah, it's time for change.
Yeah.
2024, the hug, yeah.
Yeah, just the laughter. We laughed so much at college.
Yeah.
Because I was obviously in a class with Neil Christie, and he makes me laugh so much.
Yeah.
Like crying laughter.
Yeah. It's so, and yeah, well, that's definitely a shared thing a lot of people have said, and we did, like, we don't even know what half the time we just found, it must have been so annoying for the teachers at times. We just found anything funny, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were taking it seriously.
And the teachers are younger than we are now.
I know.
That's what's scary.
Yeah, it is.
And they're having to deal with us idiots.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. I'm trying to think.
And what about friendships? Like, I mean, I know friendships change through college, but I feel like you did have you and Dudley were quite a solid twosome. And
Eugene massively in the third year.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, because it was different. In first year, you were in your classes, and because we were bottom set, we had that all in it mentality.
Fudge was just talking about this.
Oh, right, really?
Yeah.
And then Fudge got moved up, didn't he? To middle in the second year. Didn't like him anymore after No, it was like it's a tribal thing. I mean, it happens, doesn't it? You look at the Squid Game.
Yeah.
Watching the Squid Game reality thing.
No, I was just reading that they've people in it are suing production company or something.
Everyone joins gangs and stuff. But that's kind of what motivated you.
Yeah.
Is that you kind of got this big group thing. So I can't remember much of first and second year. Too busy trying to get girlfriends or something. I felt like I was always had a girlfriend. Eugene was the big one in the third year. I think,
Totally. Oh, that's nice. And then when you got to the end of college...
Oh, and Holly and Steph as well, because I live with Steph Parry.
Oh, yeah.
For most of it.
Well, I suppose a lot of it is about who you live with.
Yeah.
Like me and Eugene are really close now, but we're friends because we lived together in the first year.
Yeah.
And once you build that connection, it's just like a thing, isn't it?
I found I was friends with a lot of people in the above years, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still really good mates with Ollie Thompson and Steph Butler.
Yeah.
So that first year we were in, I feel like at the end of it, I knew the name of like everyone in all 3 years, but we couldn't say that about when I was in third year.
No, God, how rude we were. I made quite a conscious effort, I think, to try and get to know people, but it just happens. We're focused on ourselves by that point.
Yeah.
But when you left college,
what
were if you can remember, what was your expectation of going out into the big world versus the reality of what you were faced with? Like, what was your first experience?
Well, I probably had a massive ego, so I probably thought I was going to be a superstar. But I've got this weird thing that I've probably still got now, where I think I'm really good, but at the same time I think I'm rubbish and getting away with it.
Yeah.
But I think at the point that I left, because I'd really liked the agent that I was with when I left, and he was kind of bigging me up. It was Michael Garrett, and he felt like he had a plan. I felt like I was going out with this plan of I only want to do parts and stuff. But I think if I go back now, I'd just be I'll just take whatever.
Well, you were really good, though. I think you were I was talking to Fudge about this, saying you were very natural. And that's something that I wasn't. I was one of those.
But I think I actually think that was my downfall in a way.
Okay.
I think that I was too, because at school I'd got all A's in GCSEs without doing any work.
Okay.
And then I got to Arts Ed, and then kind of got good parts in everything without working hard enough. And I think that's then why I probably didn't do what I wanted to do as an actor, because I just didn't work hard enough.
Yeah.
Because I got too used to just doing the bare minimum work-wise and getting all right. But then when you get out there, there's other people that work harder than you.
Yeah, it's madness.
Yeah, so I think I left thinking, but then at the same time I knew it's all my fault, but there's a natural thing. Like I wasn't a tenor,
Yeah.
so and I looked really young, and all the young parts you have to be able to sing high.
Yeah.
I couldn't sing high, so I knew in musicals I wasn't going to play
Yeah.
the parts that I wanted. But then I've always felt like I was more of a comedy actor, but there's not really comedy parts.
Did you want to do musicals though? Or
Yeah.
were you just quite like, yeah.
I think I did, but obviously I only wanted to do like playing a lead role in it. When I left college,
Yeah.
that was what
What
thought
did
would have
you?
been.
What was like your first job as such that you remember, even college?
First job. I actually did this BBC drama thing called
Okay.
Jamie Kane, but it was an online game
Okay.
about a pop star that went missing. It was like a Robbie Williams type thing, like
Yeah.
he was in a band. That was
Yeah.
the first thing I did, but the first proper job was Hollyoaks
Okay.
because I missed our last day because I was auditioning.
I remember that. Yeah, because we held a photo up of you, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. I was really sad to miss that. Actually, I tried to get out of it, but I had I was kind of forced into going to the audition.
Yeah.
And it didn't really make a difference. And I think I was filming the day of the actual like cap and gown
Yeah.
graduation, so I missed that as well.
Yeah.
So that was the first job. I did 4 episodes of that, and then they said, because I'd auditioned for like 5 parts, and in the end they went, "Oh, we've got this part we've written. His name's Chris, and he's a twat." I was like, "Oh, okay, you've written it for me then." And so I did that, and then I came back and did another one, and then the next year I did like another 20 episodes.
Yeah.
Or so it was like spread out over a year.
And when you're doing it, were you thinking, "Oh yeah, this is cool. I'm just going to do this now." Were you just going with the flow, or were you?
No,
thinking,
I wanted to. I was
Yeah.
like TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, is what I wanted to do. I really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think the plan was always to do enough TV that you get a bit of a name.
Yeah.
And then go back to musicals.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sadly, I never got a name. So I did that. But there was kind of like there was a bit the next summer. I think I did a play somewhere. I remember I was rehearsing for it, but I got offered the international tour of Mamma Mia to cover. I think it was like first cover Pepper or something.
Yeah.
But I got that offered at the same time that Hollyoaks said, "Oh, there might be some more episodes," and I had to choose between the two. Whereas I feel like if I'd gone and done the tour of Mamma Mia, I could have had a
Completely different career.
completely
in a way.
different career of maybe like regular musical stuff.
Yeah.
But I did Hollyoaks and met people that I'm still really good friends with now. So
Yeah.
it was worth it.
And were there other what you say arts ed alumni in Hollyoaks when you did it? Because Kat did it, didn't she? Really briefly?
She did it just before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did it with, and she was maybe the girlfriend of
Yeah.
my mate Louis, who also
Yeah.
went to Arts Ed before.
Yeah.
So he's now a really good
Ah.
mate, yeah. I think she did it.
Yeah.
And then maybe Lizzie from the year below.
Yeah.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
And then I thought from that I'd get loads. But then again, I didn't put in any work. Like
Yeah.
I remember I was living with Ollie Thompson at the time. It would have been the first 6 months of 2006, just after I'd done it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, because I got recognised on the street, and I was like, well, I can't get a normal job. I get recognised, and
Yeah.
so I swear for 6 months, all me and him did, because he wasn't working either. I think he'd done something at National,
Yeah.
and then he was joining Wicked in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
summer
yeah.
in the original cast. And for 6 months, all we did was play Pro Evolution Soccer and go to the gym at Esport. Remember Esport
Yes.
gym in Chiswick
In
Park?
Chiswick Park, I went
Yeah.
there.
We all got discounts because someone worked there,
Yeah.
right? Was it Mark Isles?
Yeah.
maybe? So we all had like £50 a month,
So-
or no, it was less than, must have been £30 a month in that
So
amazing gym. And all we did was play computer games, do that, and then go down the street and ask people if they wanted to play football, and then sing at home. And that was about for 6 months, and then all the money ran out.
Yeah.
And I went front of house.
I think everyone had that experience. When I left college, I was working at Blockbuster Video, but I was on minimum wage. I was, I think, part-time. I look back and go, how would I even pay my rent?
Yeah,
And then I was at a sport, I just sat in the jacuzzi every day.
yeah, yeah. You used to always see people in the steam room,
Yeah.
Arts Ed people,
Yeah.
just clearing themselves out.
I remember also coming to see you in that Blondel.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I came with
That was the year
Holly.
after. That
Yeah.
was 2006, December, yeah.
So that was after Hollyoaks.
Yes, I did
Yeah.
Hollyoaks, yeah. Then I didn't do anything for like 6 months or so. And then I did a musical in Salisbury called
Yeah.
Two Cities, which was like a new musical based on a tale of two cities.
Okay.
Didn't get good reviews.
Okay.
One of them was, someone wrote in the visitor's book, 2 cities, one would have been more than enough. And
Did you write that? Or you?
And so, because I've had amazing people in it, but it was, and some reviewer in the Guardian said by the end of the play, because it was about I wanted to line up everyone involved against the wall and shoot them.
I don't know if you'd be able to get away with saying that now,
No.
would you? But
so I did
fair
that, yeah.
enough.
Then I did Blondel. So the Hollyoaks was the first moment where I thought, I'm going to be big here,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen. And then Blondel, it was like the main role Tim Rice was involved, and then I just probably didn't capitalise on that.
Yeah.
Although looking back, I've seen video of it, and I was just really under-energised in it. That's too natural.
Too natural. What from there? What kind of happened in life? Were you thinking, oh, I'm still enjoying this, or were you starting to think, oh,
I was still enjoying it there.
Yeah.
That was Blondel was the first point where I started losing confidence.
okay,
I had a guy, a musical director, and there was one night where I had a really bad cold, and the next day he was like, "Oh, we want to go through this song," and he went through it with me, and I was trying to sing it, and he was like, "Well, because you know what they're saying about you online," and it was on like a forum message board. Someone had said about my voice not sounding great like the night before, and I was like, "Oh," right. He's like, "Yeah, they were saying you're really pitchy in this and da da da," and I was like, oh, "Okay." And then something went in my brain, and like, you know, when you leave college, you've got like all this confidence, and you feel like you can do anything. Then suddenly, I was overthinking everything. And I did do a job I did Bad Girls the Musical in the West End, which was fun, and I only had 2 lines of singing in that. It was all just an acting part, so that didn't really affect them. But then the next year, I think I did Sound of Music in Cyprus, and my confidence I couldn't pitch. It just completely went.
God,
it was a bit like, let's say, losing control of your something that you never think about, and it was like, what is it, 16 going on 17 song, isn't it? And something like, you wait little girl, and I just couldn't sing the tune, and then that just went in my head, and every time I had to sing or learn a new song for anything, I was like trying to hide away and not.
That's madness, but yeah, it's amazing, crazy, like psychological what you can do. I remember used to go and sometimes start doing this thing later on where I'd go, you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to forget your lines, and just repeatedly say that to us while I was on stage actually saying the lines.
Yeah.
And luckily it didn't affect me, but that was the last job I did because I didn't enjoy that could happen.
Yeah, that's when it is horrible, and that's when I stopped enjoying it, because I realised whenever it was a day where I felt like it was going to be the day where we go through my song, like I couldn't sleep the night before. I was doing nervous poos.
Oh God, the nervous poos.
Yeah, it was horrible. And then that kind of just.
Do you feel that way about singing now?
Well, I only sing in the car now.
Yeah.
I think I'd need like a few months of lessons.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't. I think I'd be able to just not think about it.
Yeah, because you get old and you just go, basically say fuck it, like that stupid shit.
Yeah.
When you were younger.
And I did change because I ended up doing, because you mentioned you had Fudge in. I did take that tribute gigs with Fudge. And that's actually, because I was singing all the time with those, I actually got a bit of confidence back.
Well, also that kind of work, even though people go, oh, it's what I do in between, it actually is really good, isn't it? That kind of work to like, because you really just have to be put in these environments where it's not like a paid audience as such. It always is it? And so you just have to fight against it. It's just relax a bit more, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose.
And I feel like I could go back now and be more relaxed.
Yeah.
But I do think that. But then I've had commercial auditions recently, and the ones where you go in the room, suddenly there's nerves come back that I haven't felt for years and years. Yeah. And then, when they ask you to do it again, but slightly different, and you do it, and you're like, oh, I just did exactly the same. Before. Whereas when I was younger, I was really malleable. Yeah. But I think I'm just rusty and out of practice.
Yeah. But they do sometimes go, oh, can you do it again, but just do it a bit more normal? They'll say something like that, and you're like, oh, okay, but you don't actually know what they mean. But you say, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Instead of going, what the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, to be honest. Well, when did... I never hate to say, when people come up to you and go, oh, have you given up now? Like, it's one of the most annoying things that people say. Or have you stopped now? Also, when do you feel like, without realising it, you were kind of just almost fading out a bit?
I think it was when... I'm trying to think of the jobs that I was on.
So many.
2009, I was still fine. 2010, I think, was when... it's just when I was going for loads of stuff and not getting anything. Yeah. And then I did Wag the Musical in 2013. Yeah,
that famous.
And it was...
Olivier Award winning.
So bad. It was so bad. It was supposedly about... What?
Who were you?
Basement Pete. It was set in a department store.
Okay.
And they were on a fragrance counter, but I was like the guy that swept downstairs. I had a couple of good, really nice songs. The music was actually really good.
Yeah.
And I played the guitar in it and sang. I think in total I wasn't actually on stage that long.
Yeah.
It was loosely lit linked to football wags
Yeah.
in that one of them was going out with a footballer, and that was about it. There was no other football theme to it. And I just remember just thinking, I don't want to be doing crap.
Yeah.
And then I was working in box office, which was brilliant in my 20s. Like it was such a good laugh. But then I was like becoming a manager there and becoming like doing software stuff in the back end. And I thought, I don't want to be a box office manager.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like the little jobs that you do, and before you know it, it's your life. And when people ask what do, you say you're an actor. You don't say, "Oh, I'm a box office," but actually, that is what.
But in my head, I'm constantly just down the whole time because all I'm thinking is, "Oh, well, you work in box office, really? You don't fool anyone."
Yeah.
And I found that a bit depressing. And I think because James O'Brien does podcasts, and he always when he interviews people, he talks about the showing off gene. We've clearly both got that gene.
Yeah.
I think when you're not showing off enough,
I don't know what you're talking about.
when you don't get to show off enough, you feel down.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could ever not perform.
Yeah.
In some way, but yeah, around after that, and then had more auditions. It was more like getting close to things and not getting it. I remember because I've been in for Mamma Mia a million times, and around that time actually I went in for it and got down to the last two to play Sky in the West End. I think I would have been the oldest Sky that ever had. I think I was.
How old were you?
I would have been 30.
Oh, okay.
At least by then.
Well, you still look like 30 now, so you look about 20.
Thank you. I did moisturise today actually.
Okay,
My wife
not
told
usually.
me to exfoliate them. I know I never. My secret is I never use
Oh.
anything on my face.
Well, sometimes it's just
But apparently I'm starting to look rough. So.
Anyway,
what was I talking about myself?
Box office.
Box office 2013.
change Sky. Yeah.
Yeah, around that time I didn't get that, and then I didn't get something else, and I was just like, oh, I can't be arsed.
Can't do this anymore.
Yeah, and the Palace thing just happened.
Tell us
Crystal Palace is a football club that I've supported since I was a kid.
Yeah,
so
tell us all about that.
My dad grew up in Croydon, which is where they're based. He's a Palace fan, so it was what I'd always done. And actually, football's amazing because you get to sing in the crowd.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. So they were doing a thing. They were looking for the face of Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And in 2014, and my now wife was like, "Oh, you should go for it," and I was like, "Oh no," because obviously I get really bad audition nerves, so I was terrified.
Yeah.
They were doing an audition in a car park, like in this little mobile thing. So I queued up with a load of people, and I was just looking around, going, "This is demeaning," because I still had a massive ego, thinking I should be a West End star. And I did it, and then it was like it wasn't even a vote. It looked like a vote because it was like on YouTube for your favourite, but it was chosen by the chairman. And it started off as just a part-time job as the presenter.
I remember liking it though, I think.
Oh, you were one of the few that liked it.
I did.
They basically took out, it was cringy. It was just me answering questions about myself, and then they edited out all the embarrassing bits. Edited in all the embarrassing bits. So I started off with that 3 days a week, but then I ended up getting offered a full-time job. And they'd had video stuff before, but it was kind of at the start of online content.
Yeah.
So I built up since then, and now I'm head of video and social media. But I still present, and I interview the manager and players, and then produce features and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very creative.
Yeah.
So it's scratching that itch a bit of performing.
Do you go to every match? As many as you can?
Yeah, almost all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best bit.
Yeah.
The games, and then I love putting together, just telling stories. It's all just storytelling, any bit of content.
But it's funny because you go like, oh, you said you didn't audition for it, was that? But like what Fudge is doing being a barber, I go, God, that's just so him. It kind of makes sense for you. It's like, you've got a good personality and doing something that you actually care about and love. Yeah,
and I remember now, it was the week before. I even saw it advertised. Liv had said, I was like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I don't think I can't do this anymore. She said, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. She said, what do you like? Crystal Palace. What else? Well, performing. She was like, okay, well, how can we find something that combines that? And then the next week they put a thing online saying, we're looking for the face of Palace. I should have said that before. It would have been a better story if I'd done that and then told the audition story about nearly going.
It's fine.
Sorry.
But
so that, it's a combination of all skills. And then you find out when you do it that all the stuff that we learned at college comes in. Actually, even in box office, comes in so handy. Like, we're so disciplined about turning up early, on time.
Do you sometimes think it's a bit can be sometimes a detriment though, because I sometimes do everything to like still 110% for me and burn out. I don't know if you're similar. Sometimes we get so like, oh, it has to be done. To a degree, it can be quite.
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah,
but also don't work hard. Well, I do now, but I wouldn't say it. I know it does consume all my life. Actually, I'm just constantly thinking about it because I don't want things to be rubbish.
Yeah,
yeah. And I just feel like we were taught to have a job. Like we were taught how to have a job and how to like work hard. And I don't know if it's a younger generation thing. I sound like an old man now, but a lot of the time when you get people in, the first few months, sometimes you're teaching them how to have a job and be respectful and you know, like apologising when you're late or messaging to say I'm running late. Whereas a lot of people would just.
No.
I had a guy that turned up once, and he was late, and he kept being late. And my boss was in the room at the time and thought, oh, I've got to say something because this guy worked for me. I was like, oh yeah, you're late again. Was there a problem with the train? And he was like, oh yeah, see, the problem is there's 2 trains I can get. There's one gets me in 15 minutes early and the other gets me in 15 minutes late. And I was like, okay.
So
there's 2 trains you can get. There's the first one you mentioned that gets you in 15 minutes early, and then there's one before that. But he said it like straight faced.
Yeah.
Like it's a problem for him getting there 15 minutes early. And I was like, these are a different breed.
It is.
I don't know if it's just because we went to art centre.
Well, like, yeah, I
sign in.
No, I don't. Well, I don't want to like put everyone who's young in a group because not everyone is like that. But I had a similar experience with someone that I worked with recently, and I kind of said they kind of said, oh, do you know when you put pressure on me though, I just get so anxious and then I am late. I'm like, oh, so I'm just
yeah.
It's madness, but it is really.
But maybe it isn't. It can't be a generation because actually there's a guy at work that's young that has got at work so hard and incredibly. He's always in early.
It's really hard for young people now, though. I think even though like I'm pleased that we're from the generation we're from, but I'm pleased that we grew up without phones. You know what I mean, and all that. So imagine we had social media at college. We were saying this. I would have been just so insecure.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to someone about this at college and said it gets really like catty and like people block each other and all this like stuff. And you just go, no, none of that. What? Just talking about just life in the last 20 years. What things have happened with? Because you say singing and your pitch and that's all these like things that at the time are so important to us, but obviously like perspective comes in over time and things like what things. Yeah. Have like given you perspective and happiness and different things and I suppose friendships, like how friendships have remained and changed.
Yeah. Trying to think. Well, I guess it seems an obvious one to get into. Obviously, my mum passed away in 2012, so maybe that was the thing because the last job I did was the year after that. So maybe that was why I was just like, I'm alright, because a lot of it was she was the one that did all the hard work of like getting me on the summer school, to watch me and stuff. So she was always the one that did singing lessons. And maybe once she wasn't around, then and everything got put into perspective. But I never really thought about it. I should probably get therapy, to be honest. But, but I found out I dealt with it quite well.
I think you did. I remember sing with you, and I don't want to. I know I said this to someone else. I never want to like apologise to people, but I remember when it had happened to you, and remember we went to Eugene's to watch the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
Oh yeah,
and it wasn't long after it.
Yeah.
But I was still. I didn't know how to deal with it or to say to you, I'm so sorry, so I just didn't say anything to you.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I actually found. I just find I find it really easy to talk about.
Yeah.
It was a weird one because it was so quick. It was like 3 months.
Yeah.
Between her finding out she was ill and dying, but it's not. Yeah, I find it quite easy to talk about. But I think I was making an effort to just like deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, around that time, I mean, people do. Everyone means really, really well, but you find a lot of people send messages in almost like they're from the Victorian times. Like, I'm so sad to hear of the passing, like that.
Yeah.
Whereas just chatting normally is
saying
the best thing. But then everyone deals with things completely different.
Yeah, completely, and it's just
But weirdly, the morning that my mum died, I found out because I had been at home for ages, but then I had this flat up in London I was staying in, and I was staying in it that night because it was like, basically if you ever had to go through it, the last 2 weeks are absolutely horrible. So I was actually like taking a break for one night, and then I got the phone call, but I'd already committed to. Gareth Mason had written a comedy thing, and he was doing a read through that morning. So I literally found out, and then still went to the read through of the comedy thing. Did that, and then Eugene and Holly had come up to see me, and then I bumped in and chatted to them. Like I remember they were sat outside somewhere on the Strand.
Yeah.
And then the next day, Ollie and Steph and all of that lot surprised me. Andrew McBain was living near Heaven.
Yeah.
Do you remember? You know the Ship and Shovel?
Yeah.
He had a flat above that.
Yeah, because I knew that because I did Spum a lot when we used to drink in there.
Oh, right, yeah.
Spum a lot. Yeah.
So he used to live above that.
Yeah.
So they did a thing where he was like, oh, if you're in London, come and see me. So I did. And then they surprised me, and they were all there on his like rooftop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, friends were incredible around that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which is the thing. Yeah, Eugene came to the funeral and was around, and loads of friends. It was great.
It's so tough. I mean, I always want to. Is that something you want to talk about or not as well? Is that your mum's? Is your mum? Sorry, fully Antiguan or half Antiguan as well?
Half Antiguan.
Yeah.
So my granddad, he passed away this year, but he was Antiguan, but he was born there, brought up there. His dad was born there actually, but his granddad was Irish and came over, and they had a sugar plantation.
Yeah.
And then my great grandmother was a local. And then she was a seamstress on the estate. They weren't slaves, but they probably were once upon a time. And they got together, and then my granddad came over here in the 50s to work in Tate and Lyle sugar factory and play cricket. And they had like
Which
a
is
team...
by London City Airport, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Do you know what? I haven't been...
Oh my God, you should go and look. It's insane.
Oh, I'll go and check it out. He said he didn't do much work because he was really good at cricket, so they just put him on the cricket team. But and then he had like a teen pregnancy with my mum's mum, and then it was like EastEnders. My mum grew up with her mum as her sister, so she always was told she was adopted.
Yeah,
but she thought she wasn't related to any of her family. And then when she was 12, she found out that her mum was her grandmother, and that her sister was her mum, and that she had a dad that I think she always knew that she had a dad that lived on a tropical island somewhere, and then she met him when she was like 19 or 20.
Did she not did she not? I don't know how to phrase this rightly. Like, no, she was different or that, or her.
Yeah. She looked slightly different.
Yeah.
Maybe like she looked kind of like Hispanic.
Yeah.
I guess.
Because you see it's on like Long. You watch Long Lost
Family.
I didn't get anything. Long Lost Family DNA.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I just got the curly hair.
Yeah. And an amazing physique.
Really good arabesque.
Yeah. But that is interesting, and the reason I bring that up is feel like because we're in a different world now, I feel like maybe if you'd gone to college now, you'd talk about that more because of more diversity. But we didn't really talk about stuff like that back then. No. Not that it's important and not that it defines you, but I feel like you would have probably spoken about that a bit more because there would have been people in similar
I guess so
boats as well.
Yeah, it was really weird because the area that I grew up in was the whitest place on earth. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
so we didn't really. That's another thing why Arts Head was so good, because you got people coming from all these places where they're completely different. It was like a big melting pot of like sexuality and diversity, as I'm sure it is now. Yeah,
and we spoke about this, and we also spoke about scholarships and how many scholarships there were, which will go, it's great, but actually, I don't think there aren't as many now, and it was so expensive, really, whether you were on one or not. But Wayne said actually that's why we had this fascination with people, because it wasn't just about diversity as in like race and sexuality. It was about class, people, different class people were from as well.
Yeah.
Some people were from really working class, they were backgrounds, and some people were from more privileged backgrounds. But that just made that kind of like fascination with each other.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really good mix, because my secondary school was a bit like that.
Yeah.
Because I was from the countryside, but you had like kids from the council estates, but then you had, I guess I would be middle class.
Same.
And then you had people from Tunbridge Wells, which was in Kent, that had grammar schools, and they were like from money, but their parents didn't agree with grammar schools, so they'd send them to our school. So we had a mix, and it was a really happy place.
Yeah, exactly the same. I went to comprehensive school and mixed people, and it's just so important.
I actually never thought, I think going back, even at Arts Head, I wouldn't have ever seen anyone's house and gone, oh, you must have loads of money. I think all I ever thought when I was younger was like, oh, you got a big house. I never thought, what do your parents do? Now I'd be like, oh, what do they do?
Yeah.
Oh, like I live in Richmond and I look at the houses and go, how are there this many rich people? There's so
Yeah.
many houses. Like, how can everyone afford these?
Yeah.
But when we were younger, we were just like, oh, so-and-so's got a nice house.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? But then we're in that quite interesting time about that, where I feel like people that are from money are sometimes unnecessarily also getting attacked for being from money.
Yeah.
Even if it's not
their fault, is
No, it's
it?
not their fault, no. I agree, and it's levelling that out. But you are still acting as well yourself, and like...
Kind of, yeah. I auditioned for commercials.
Yeah.
Which I started doing maybe a couple of years
Yeah.
ago. I hadn't done it for ages. So I did a first year at Palace, and then I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to tell my agent I don't want to audition anymore. I just want to fully go into this.
You for a while, you were like a bit of a commercial king, I think.
I did do quite a few, yeah. Not like huge money, sadly, but they're all good. Yeah, I did loads, and then now I'm doing them, and I'm sending the tapes off, thinking, "Well, that's good," and then you just don't hear anything. I found I hit a weird age though. I don't know if you did the same thing at 30.
Yeah,
that was another reason why I gave up. Not gave up. We don't say that. That's another reason why I paused.
You can say it. It's just if people say it to you, I think it's cringe.
So that's why I paused.
Yeah,
was because. When I was in early 20s and mid 20s, there's loads of parts for young guys.
Yeah.
But then I got to 30, and then the agent I was with... Oh, yeah, so when I did Bad Guys, I then signed with a big agent.
Yeah.
And I feel like I didn't have a great relationship with the agent, and I just kind of disappeared. And then they were just putting me in for things for dads, and I was like... Because I was 31. Yeah. But
you look too young.
I still like 23, 24. And I actually even find now, when I get a casting through for a dad...
Dad, I'm the same... I know I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
Because they're like... The first ever commercial I did, I got cut from it because they put me in a costume, and it was like... it's like I had my parents' clothes on, like a dressing up box. And I remember turned up, and I thought, no, I'm not going to say anything. And the agency were on set, and they said, aren't his clothes a bit big? And next thing I know, I was cut from it.
Really?
Yeah, because I said, don't look like... Unfortunately, by advertising standards, their dads are like... in their 40s, I think more. Yeah,
well,
which
we're only
now,
but
but
I've got the grey bits here. But I feel like I just don't carry myself like a dad.
No.
I think I still carry myself like a young guy.
Yeah.
I actually remember being on set. I did a Unibet advert, and you have to be 25 to do a betting advert. And I would have been 30, 31. Keep saying 30, 31. And I was on set, and I'd said to them, if you have me clean shaven, I will look really young. And they were like, no, we definitely want you clean shaven. I was like, okay. And it was like proper baby's bum fresh. And they on set, there was loads of and they had to make phone calls, and it was like, look, sorry, the client's really worried that you don't look 25, even though you are, and that's fine. And there were loads of calls, and I was like, oh man, already paying off my overdraft for this. But luckily they kept me in.
That's good.
But I was sweating.
Yeah, it's horrible. I did run on my 40th birthday. I booked a job finally, because it's tough, as same commercial, but we all had to have beards in it, big beards. So they said, you have to clean shave. So I had to clean shave on my 40th birthday. It's horrifying. It was like I looked like I did when I was younger, but I don't know, I just looked odd. I showed my friend and was like, I actually don't have no words to say. Luckily I had a beard on. But people that had known me and maybe in the last 10 years have probably nearly always had facial hair, so they'd never seen me without it. So they were like, how do you look so different? It's the same, I get it.
I only did it I used to have stubble. I only did the hair during lockdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, before I was clean shaven. There's people at work now that see the videos of me presenting stuff clean shaven from like 5 years ago, and they're like, oh my God, you look so weird.
But it does, it's a very interesting thing. I think most people I know look better with facial hair. And it's like, it's a natural thing. It grows, so it's natural.
Yeah, it's nice. I've just always worried I'd never want to be... Because people, when they had beards when we were younger, well, maybe like with goatees, it was to cover the fact they didn't have a jawline, wasn't it? And you shave it in. I never want to be that.
You've got great jawline, though, don't worry. I feel that way now when I shave. I'm like, oh, God, I'm like...
Yeah, if you go too far up, I feel like I've done one of those...
Yeah, weird ones.
Accountants have.
Where you're at now, doing Crystal Palace, like what's going forward? What's your kind of... I don't mind saying we spoke about this the other day, and it's quite exciting because I feel like you're going, okay, like a bit of a fresh start.
Yes, so I've been there 9 years now, and I'm leaving at the end of May.
Yeah.
It's kind of agreed, so I'm gradually going. I've gone down to less days a week. I'll go down to less in January, and I've set up a production company with a friend of mine.
Amazing.
so we're doing online content because I kind of learned how to edit and shoot. So by next summer, hopefully I'll be in a position where we're earning money from that, and then I can properly audition for acting stuff, not just commercials. And presenting work and freelance producing stuff as well. I just want to be in a position where I try and do a bit of everything instead of going, I am just this now.
Yeah, completely. I mean,
and I might never get an acting job again, but I think I'll always audition because you may as well. Might change if I have kids. Like, we do want to start a family in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So.
But you can do it both. Do you know what I mean?
I need that pressure because I get too comfortable in things. And I always have. So I think I need the pressure of, like, you've got to earn this money, so you need to put yourself out there. I think the reason why I wasn't very good as an actor was because I was always waiting for it to come to me, and I'm not very good at pushing myself.
Yeah, but I do also think that was your experience. Like, you were, when you were at college, you did well. You got a lot of parts, which was well earned because you were very good. But when that's what you're being given that, and that's what's happening, how are you meant to think anything else? Do you know what I mean? In a way, it's
but I could have been so much better. I could have been a better singer. That's why I also think it's a bit of a lottery at college sometimes with what singing teacher you get.
Because it's subjective.
And it's also what's good for your voice. Like, I had one and he was really good, but I didn't feel like a classical way of doing it for me. For me, I just needed someone that could do whatever it takes to make me sing higher.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's different now. Like, everyone sings in a completely different tone to what we did at college now. We were taught, I feel like we were all more individual, right? And you kind of sang in your sang in your talking voice a bit more. There's no American musical theatre.
Well,
everything's like...
But and it's more,
It's too perfect.
That's why I'm really pleased.
But then I don't know if I'm just saying I like it because it's too perfect, because I'm jealous because I can't do that. That's the thing.
Well, I'm always pleased I went and explored music because I see singing completely differently now. Because when you see it from, like, a music artist perspective, and I worked with some people and stuff, I was like, oh God, it's so much, like, it's more fun to explore it.
Yeah.
But I do get why you have to look after your voice and you have to sing a certain way, but on the whole, a lot of legit musical theatre singing just does nothing for me when I hear it anymore. I'm just like, but don't get me wrong, there's some people you go, wow, that's insane, and it does move you. But, like, I wish people were trained to be more individual, because it's that's the whole beauty of that. You know, even me doing this podcast is that we are also different. We all have something very individual. Yeah, and not to change that and try and be. But I was always comparing myself to other people at college, and I was like, I wish I could. I want to need to be as funny as Grio, or I need to dance or kick my leg as high as that person. Whereas if you just hone in on who you are more. Yeah, I guess. That's right. Yeah. But I feel like I tried to be too funny, and that I used it as a defense thing to cover up the fact that, like, I can't cry. Yeah. So I feel like I always wanted to do comedy stuff because I was scared if I did serious stuff, they might want me to cry. You know, there's one, actually, I did a bit of dancing in Muppets movie. Yeah. And the shot is, I'm in a couple of musical numbers as dance, but the shot is me, like, crying in the audience, and I was having to put, like, tiger balm under my eyes and stuff. I felt like, because I would never tapped into that and I couldn't do that, I tried to then just do comedy all the time. Yeah. And because I was so insecure, performance classes, I'd always try and do a funny song, or try and do something that's ridiculous. I was always obsessed with being different. Like, I never wanted to sing a song that other people had sung. Probably because I was scared of being compared to the person that can sing it better. So then all my portfolio would be songs trying to be all different ones. But it's like, well, the reason why no one's singing them is because they're not very good. I just remembered something. Can you remember in our first ever... I'm going to move position for the first time. Yeah, it's my back's hurting, actually. No, that's not good. No, we'll go back there. Go back. We were... Performance class is this thing we did at college where, like, 6 people every week would sing in front of your year. And we were the same week. I was terrified. Like, singing was not my thing. And we'd pick, because we had the same singing teacher, we picked the same song. Oh, really? But you were so... Was it Dennis? Yeah. But you were so gentlemanly. You said, oh, don't worry, Matthew, you do it. I'll do something else. Oh, really? And I always remember that, yeah. I probably thought it was an opportunity to get out of it. What was it? What would it have been? Oh, it's just one of the songs that Dennis gave us. Oh, what did he... Yeah. He always gave people the same song. I loved Dennis. Me too, yeah. But it was more like Dennis a sing-along, wasn't it? Amazing. And everything was double the speed of... Yeah, what it was. So I always remember that, and actually that's quite nice that you just went, oh, it's cool, like, don't worry about it, whereas... It probably gave me a chance to sing some stupid song. Man of the Man. Am I Don Quixote?
That was, for those that don't know. Shall I look at the camera for the first time? That was my first performance class song. It was dreadful. I am by Don Quixote, the Lord.
Maybe one day you will play that part.
Yeah, maybe. I look forward to it. Yeah, that was dreadful. This Is the Moment, and that were my two audition songs to get in. Okay. But I did This Is the Moment down.
Okay. So I didn't really
Another thing I have an issue with, actually, in musicals is just when they write things so high, and they're not adaptable to. Oh, just do this, and it was almost frowned upon. Like I did that, and I remember was it Julian was their music. Julian, Julian.
That is full name.
Wasn't Ward Smith?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I
remember him going, "Oh, you've done that. That's Downer something or other." I was like, "Oh yeah." And it was all like really frowned upon. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't you just, if it's the same tune, just put it in whatever's best for that person's voice. Like Sky Mamma Mia. Like why? There's no need for him to go, I beg you, dear, because that one note, is like that's between like baritone and tenor. Yeah. And it's such a hard thing to do. It's like, oh, can you not just?
Well, also that's that leading back into that thing about singing is like, oh, is that what's important? As we know, as you get older, that's just not important. Like we know, there's some amazing performers out there that aren't the best singers, but they shit on other people because what they bring to do it. And that's just how the side I am on stuff now. I do get putting the acting first before everything else. And
I think I do that, but then I probably think that because again, it's insecurity about my singing that I think acting's more important.
But you use what you have, and I always wish I could have been an actor like you when I was at college. So
that's nice. But I mean, I watch people and think, how do you do that? How have you made that choice? Like when I watch shows now, I just can't imagine me. Do you not find yourself? I can't imagine me choosing to do that. That's really good. You know, when people are amazing, and then you just think.
No, I think I'm a bit more confident than I used to be. Maybe even cocky. And I sometimes go and watch stuff now and go, what? I mean, I don't know how you feel. I, for some reason, just stopped going to watch theatre for a long time at one point without even consciously doing it. And then I went back and I was like, oh, I just love actually just going to see shows again now and just sitting back.
Oh, that's good.
I remember going to watch, and it's nice saying Anne Juliet and Oliver Thompson. And I took my niece to see it with her friends and my sister. And it is one of the best things I've seen in like
it's great, isn't it?
15 years. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because I love pop music more than musicals. So it kind of like ticked that box for me. And I just thought it was so clever and so funny.
Ollie's so funny. That's the thing about Ollie is that he, you'd probably think of him as just being the romantic lead, but his comedy stuff.
Yeah, brilliant.
I think he's a brilliant.
But I remember, that's what I'm saying. I remember watching that and going, oh, that's actually such a great role.
Yeah.
Playing William Shakespeare in a different way. And I was like, I'd love to do that. Yeah. Actually, I was like, and actually, and he, well, you know, I'm not talking about people's performances, but what was nice about that is he's such a good singer, but that first song he sang in it was all about his acting and him doing it in that Cockney accent, London accent, which is, he could have like sang the roof off. So, yeah. Yeah,
he sung us down the aisle when I got married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He probably gets fed up with people asking him to sing at weddings.
He's still one of my favourite voices, like literally of anyone.
Yeah, it's great.
Insane. Okay. Well, this is like the kind of like final question. If you were to go back now to talk to, were you 18 when you started college? You say? Yeah. If you would go back to Grio now, 18-year-old Grio on your first day of arts ed, like what would you, if anything, what would you say to him now?
I'd say work harder. For one thing, like when you see Scott and Katrin practicing the routines at 8 a.m. when the class isn't until 9, don't think, oh, they're practicing again. What are they doing? I'm going to go and get a bacon sandwich or whatever. I'd also tell me not to eat a bacon sandwich because I'm vegan now. And I'd say, why don't you do that as well? Because you need to. If you're in bottom set dance, so work harder on it. But I feel, don't feel like you should just get away with stuff. I'd tell him, you have got curly hair. You don't know it because you've always got a short back and sides and like grade 2 on top or something or with some gel, but just let it grow.
Yeah.
Don't use straighteners when it comes to the third year because you'll look back on that. Oh, look, we can look back fondly. It was a time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
People are getting perms now.
Yeah. Have you heard about it?
I don't like that. I feel like...
I met an 11-year-old kid the other day and I did look at it and go, it looks so good. And then he's like, oh yeah, he just had a perm.
I think us naturally curly haired people should pull the cultural appropriation
we
card
should.
on those guys.
We should.
Say, excuse me,
But then we can't
the ones
talk
with
because we
curly
used to do
hair.
the opposite.
Yeah,
And they could
true.
say, well, you
They
used
could
to
say,
do
yeah.
what you did. But
I actually remember Eugene saying, "Oh, why do you straighten your hair? I'd love to have curly hair like yours." I'm like, I just wish mine was straight and long
me
like
too.
yours.
Me too. It's all I ever wanted, and now...
Yeah, I'd say
And
that.
it's... I mean, it's not it matters, but like curly hair is like, if you get it right, it's so part of your personality, and it has become, for me, like it's part of me.
Do you find that whenever there's someone with curly hair on TV, someone will send you a photo and say, "Oh, I found your doppelganger on"?
Sometimes
There's
a guy...
5 footballers in the world that everyone tweets and says, "Oh, I saw you playing for some German
Yeah,
side."
well, there's a guy that works, who's a manager because I do Hackney Markets at the weekend, Hackney Market Trader, who knew that I'd have a licence for Hackney Council. And there was a manager called Terence, and he has curly hair, and the extra says, "Oh, he's so you look like brothers." Literally, because he's got curly hair. That's it. No, so yeah, but do you know what's funny? Remember Matt, that guy that was the teacher in Glee?
Yeah.
Matthew, I can't remember his surname. Matthew, is it Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah. He Stephanie, good friend who I work with, who went to What Said After Us, worked with him, and I said, "Oh my god!" I said, "Okay, you have to tell him." When I saw his hair on Glee, I was like, "Oh my god, he's got like the best. How does he look after it?" And so I researched online, how does Matthew Morrison look after his hair? And he says something like he puts this like hair, just body moisturizer in his hair.
Really?
So I tried it. It didn't work because
No.
everyone's curly hair is different. But she told him, and he took a photo and sent it back to me. That was nice.
Oh, that's good.
Because he was like my curly hair, like goals.
Oh, really? Jude Law was always mine back in the day.
Oh yeah, I always forget he had curly hair.
Yeah.
Because he definitely used to straighten it for some stuff.
Yeah, he
right?
must have done. What do you put in yours now? I'm interested.
I use there's a company actually, and I will big them up that I do markets with called Afro Annie, and she's Anita, and she started making her own natural hair products in lockdown, and they're really big, and it's just a natural shampoo, a leave-in mask, and a leave-in conditioner. I just use leave-in conditioner.
Oh, okay. I've got Kevin Murphy.
Okay.
Because my wife's friend works for Kevin Murphy.
Okay.
But I didn't get it for free. But I did use Motion Lotion, and there's a new one called Killer Curls that I've just started working. Just started putting on this week.
I just find
I put it in wet when I get out of the shower, and then you just.
I'm saying this. I only wash my hair once a week as well.
I wash less. I
That's
used to
what
wash
it is.
every day.
Yeah. It's I used to you strip your hair of the oil.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Full on conversation.
This is great.
But it's true, but honestly, like the less you put in it and the more natural it builds up, that's when your hair is better. So like just nothing that like crunches.
Oh, okay.
But some days are like the other day.
I'm trying to think.
Like some days I wake up in the morning and my hair is like I've just had it cut. It's honestly like there.
Really?
Yeah. It's like
mine's all over the shop, but mine I'm covering receding bits, so I have to carefully.
Well, what I'd say is just I just have it longer now.
Yeah.
Because I'm more receding than I look.
That's nice. I was taking pills for a bit. We can cut this out. Finasteride, Propecia.
Okay.
It's like I started taking. I take it for about 6 or 7 years, and because I did have it was thinning here and thinning there and there, and it grew back. And then I stopped taking it because I was like, I didn't like the idea of changing my hormones, and then it just it's only really slowly going, and I'm hoping that it's going to stop.
Irish sea moss though I take now, which is that seaweed that comes from the Caribbean that everyone takes that you make into a gel, and it's like natural collagen. I've been taking that for like 2 years. Your skin.
You're gonna have to send me all of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, if you do want hair,
hair
and skin tips,
how are you?
Chris and Matthew, this is going to be a spin-off show.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that I wish I'd said. No, just that I'd absolutely love college, and I love seeing people from college.
Yeah,
it just makes you smile, doesn't it? And I can't wait to I miss hanging around with musical theatre people.
Yeah,
I feel like that's when I feel most up.
Because I don't know if you ever did that thing when people did that. Oh, I hate stage people and I hate this and that. But actually, it's sometimes phrased wrong, isn't it? Because then you get into environments and you're just like, oh, actually, it's kind of who I am.
I love them.
Yeah,
I absolutely love staging people, and I really miss it. So I like working in football. It's great.
Yeah,
but I can't unleash my full camp humour.
Yeah. Well, there's that unspoken thing as well. If we ever see each other, on the whole, any of us, it's just it was such an intense experience that you just kind of do pick up where you left off and stuff.
Yeah,
people from other years as well. I know it's actually nice connecting with people from other years that maybe I didn't know that well now. Kind of a similar thing. Oh, Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh no, thanks. It's been great. I've been
And
really looking forward to it.
I know you don't like hugs, but you have to give me one.
Oh no, I love hugs now.
Okay.
It
That's
kind
fine.
of. Yeah, I'll let you hug me.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Let's talk to the audience. Like, subscribe,
Thank you.
follow.
Yeah.